channel. Bookdown #7.
Bruh.
Welcome to part 3 of my series in which I am reviewing Stranger Things episodes. This is the final part in which I'll be reviewing season 4 and season 5 so far. The structure will remain the same as previous videos, comparing ratings with different popular websites. Let's move on to what probably is the show's worst season. Season 4, Episode 1, The Hellfire Club, has an interesting beginning, showing the massacre at the lab way before the specific episode, kind of a wrong move, like they pulled in Season 2 with 8 and Co. Elle in California has a site sad to see, and the American Bully story is continued over here, so minus 0.5 points for that. We see how everybody's doing, but Max's situation is a bit out of hand, and it feels forced as she wasn't really that close to Billy anyways. The D&D club and Lucas in the basketball team are two details just made to add twist to the story, and also a new character in the form of Eddie Manson. Also, Argyle is a fun character, and actually find his enjoyment and situation kind of funny. Chrissy is an unneeded addition to the show, but at least we see Vecna in semi-human form for the first time thanks to her. Also, the Chrissy wake up moment is a bit too dramatized. I don't mind the longevity of the episodes considerably rising, as it helps expand storylines and characters, even if these are bad, like in this case. And Joyce receiving the message about Hopper is an interesting but expected turn of events. The episode will get a 6.6 from me, not a good start to the season and slightly below its IMDb score of 8.1. Episode 2, Vecna's Curse, sees an interesting turn of events with Eddie being hunted by everyone, including Jason, who had a series of connected events but an unneeded plot point. Elle struggles skating ring makes some bad character development, and Vecna appears magically and I must say terrifyingly to take Fred. Hopper's journey is a nice touch, and so is the inclusion of Murray and Nancy's investigation. Still, it's not enough to save the episode from 6.8, 1.3 behind its IMDb rating. Episode 3, The Monster and the Superhero, sees the development of the Russian situation. Not that important though, for now. Elle gets arrested in a badly written fashion, but is rescued by the supporting side of the government, led by Dr. Owens, whilst the opposing side tries to find her. Jason and the boys hunt Eddie in a weird fashion, whilst the break-in orchestrated by the people left in Hawkins helps us understand what Vecna wants. Um, Hopper struggle to get out is occasionally shown, and Stephen Robin discovering Krill is crucial for the plot as well. The final scene in which Max sees the clock ticking is a good cliffhanger. The episode though will get a 7.1 from me, a bit closer to its IMDb 8.3 rating. Episode 4, Dear Billy, continues the Victor Skrill storyline, a bit forced but well put together. Max getting abducted by Vecna, something expected, with Billy appearing in her vision just amplifying the expectation. I do have to say that the running up that hill sequence is beautifully orchestrated, but I do think they put excessive focus on Maxis and Lucas's failed relationship. Joyce Hopper and Dimitri being betrayed by Yuri is an unexpected plot twist, but fair and realistic. In general, this episode is better than usual and it will have a rating of 7.8 from me, but I don't think it even gets close to its IMDb score of 9.5. Episode 5, The Nina Project, sees a turn of events with the opposing side of government on the attack, while we finally start learning about Elle's past. Yuri being defeated by Murray and Joyce is a nice moment, and Arthur Brenner's inclusion is a good decision as it heightens drama surrounding Eleven. Max and Lucas again have intimate moments, so I must ask, why do the writers delay bringing them back together even if they are closer than ever? Again, Jason and Co hunt down Eddie and Patrick gets killed by Vecna, this time something very important plot-wise. And Argyle and Co going to succeed in a way in which they include yet another episodic character, something that I don't particularly appreciate. I also like the intimate moments between Jimmy and Dmitri. Overall, I'll give the episode a 7.9. Another good episode, still a bit off from its MDB score of 8.1. In episode 6, The Dive, Joyce and Murray's plan to rescue Hopper is well written, whilst Hopper's escape plan is wild and exciting at the same time. Susie, like in season 3, plays an important role in helping the main characters, something that is becoming a regularity. The scenes at the lake are average, and the plan to investigate underwater isn't that good thought, but the Upside Down looks great visually. Eden is another unneeded character that creates some funny moments, and Elle discovers more about her past, something very interesting and valuable to the plot. I think Jason still believing Ed is the culprit is shit writing, and the episode will get a 6.5 from me, 2 full points behind its IMDb rating. Episode 7, The Massacre at Hawkins Lab, finally tells us the full truth about Elle's past after a long build-up. This connects directly with Harry being discovered simultaneously by Nancy, a brilliant sequence. Exploring the Upside Down is visually spectacular, though some writing choices are questionable. The interrogation scenes feel forced, and the previously mentioned ending is very tense. Hopper escaping makes for a great fight with the Demogorgon, and reuniting with Joyce is an emotional moment. All in all, this episode deserves a 7.5, 2.1 behind this ridiculously high IMDb rating. Episode 8, Papa sees Nancy make contact with Vecna, a major moment plot-wise, while Hopper, Joyce, Dmitri, Yuri, and Murray all fight bravely and destroy the remaining Demogorgons. Will again shows signs that he's gay, and Elle connects with the Hawkins group, who are bravely planning an assault on Vecna, an intriguing moment. The attack on the secret base and the battle between Brenner and Elle is magnificent, though at times predictable and disappointing. But Brenner's death does help the plot, as does the finding of Elle by the boys. The episode gets 7.2 from me, 1.5 down on its IMDb rating. The season finale, an episode which is to be longer even than the series finale, is episode 9, The Piggyback. I like how the Russian side of things ends, and I like seeing Hopper and Joyce finally together. I enjoyed the drama the episode brings when everyone thinks Steve and Co are going to die. I enjoyed the epilogue and I like Max's sacrifice, but I do not understand or enjoy the addition of Jason at the end. The fact that Vecna doesn't strike back at the end, and I don't really think healing Eddie off this one is a good decision. And I like how Elle is revealed to be inside Max's mind when she gets attacked by Vecna. The romantic moments between Max and Lucas are funny, but overly drawn out, and there is another obvious Coca-Cola promotion in the epilogue. With that, this episode gets a 7.4 from me, 1.7 of its IMDb rating. Season 4 has an average rating of 8.7 on IMDb. My average rating for this season is only a 7.2, with a higher peaks than most seasons, but also the deepest lows. Finally, we have the first 7 episodes of season 5. Let's start with episode 1, The Crawl. I believe starting the season with a flashback is a great choice, but continuing the storyline long after season 4 weakens the impact of that ending. Elle training makes for a good action sequence, while Murray reappearing is an interesting choice. Hopper explores the upside down where things begin to unravel. Dr. K's appearance is probably connected to Brenner, whilst Mr. Watsit has the first scary appearance as Holly's imaginary friend. Dustin gets beat up, something expected and very much in line with the American Bully trope. In general, this episode is interesting and I'll give it a 8.3, which is 0.4 above its current IMDb rating, making it the first episode to surpass it in a while. Episode 2, The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler, has a major historical inaccuracy, at least from my perspective, a history lover. The Enigma machine did not win the war, as Robin said, it only shortened it. Holly getting kidnapped is something that might give some younger kids some fears, and Karen's defense is legendary. But the action in the Upside Down is kind of boring. In the real world, the Robin and Will's connection is somehow very dense, something I do not understand why shown. Nancy and Mike really are connected to one another as siblings, and Karen revealing Mr. Watts' name is expected. I'll give the episode a general 7, 1.4 behind its IMDb score. Episode 3, The Turnbow Trap, again has some boring upside down action, but I like the device that stops Cell's powers as it better develops the plot and situation. Holly being tricked by Vecna's mind control is kind of unsettling, but her playing in the house highlights her innocence. As for Derek and his family's kidnapping, it makes some interesting moments, though Derek himself isn't that good of a character, in my opinion. The fight with the Demogorgon is fast-paced and fun, and the reveal that Jonathan is planning to propose to Nancy is amazing. Max revealing herself to Holly at the end of the episode makes for a good cliffhanger. The episode will also get a 7 from me, 1.6 of its current IMDb rating. Then, episode 4, The Sorcerer. The infiltration of the military base is brilliantly acted, but could have been more tightly written. Derek once again appears important, but this time is better written than the previous episode. Ellen Hopper's infiltration ends in the Finding Gate, finally tying up a major loose plot point. Now Max explains how she got there to Holly and what has really happened, but I believe she could have easily made it out the first time because her running wasn't appropriate. I always thought somebody other than the lab children would get superpowers. I always thought it would be Max, but it was Will, an interesting decision with a brilliant reveal. However, the episode will only get a 7.2 from me, 2.2 of its current IMDb rating. Episode 5, Shock Jock, has an interesting idea with different plans to reconnect Will to Vecna. The two girl sections in Vecna's mind are exciting, but the stuff in the Upside Down isn't really well written, and Kali must be one of the worst characters I have ever seen on Netflix at least. The episode gets a 7.2 from me, 0.8 of its current IMDb score. Episode 6, Escape from Kamazot is exciting, and the two girls' journey, helped by Will, is impressive, though there are some loose plot points in there. Elf finding Will is an okayish idea, and Callie's actions really do seem to go towards betrayal. The hospital sequence is interesting, and Karen's reappearance is a nice detail. Also, the proposal scene is something horribly written because we couldn't figure out what actually was. I'll give it a 7.7, a bit of IMDb's 8.1 rating. Finally, episode 7, The Bridge, is the series' worst rated episode on IMDb with a 5.4 rating as of when I'm writing this script. The Lumax scene is brilliant, but the rest is filled by bad writing, and Will's coming out scene feels overhyped, but still is kinda good. I'll give it a 7.2 for some good character development. For the finale, I sure do hope it's not going Game of Thrones this way, and I believe we might have some sacrifices. But the main three couples should probably stay together. Those three couples being Max Lucas, Michael, and Hopper Joyce. They will all survive and will all be shown happily together in the epilogue. I also do think the show will be continued in 10 to 15 years time, as Netflix will need the money when Harry Potter itself ends. Also, the finale will be reviewed in a video coming tomorrow. The season average of season 5 so far is 8 on IMDb, whilst mine is about 7.40. Compared to Rotten Tomatoes, whose scores are at 83 and 56% respectively, the show is almost rated lowest from my perspective, whilst Metacritic's 7.4 Metascore is closer to mine. So is this the greatest show on earth? Well, no. Is it the most popular? Yes, as it combines elements exactly as they should be, so that they can attract the average person. Until next time, though, like, subscribe, goodbye, and a happy new year.